All right. So today's amend is called the French, and it's sort of lighthearted, not really lighthearted, paranoid, but also I think I'm right. But at the same time, I think it makes a point. So I'm in school. And I like to stay in school all year round. So I was up there over the summer, and over the summer they get foreign exchange groups more easily, and other types of programs. And I'm I'm just sitting watching the television that's in the main center of the dorm, the first floor, and it's Married with Children, and it's Married with Children was a very crass show, and made fun of everything and everybody. And as this group of French students, two of whom I knew from before, but the rest of the group came in. Al Bundy, the character Al Bundy, makes a joke about the French, and I couldn't help but laugh. And I laughed, and the next day my car was vandalized. It had two tires were punctured, and the antenna was ripped off, and it got keyed. Now, no other car nearby had this thing. I didn't have any kind of girlfriend at the time, or ex-girlfriend at the time, that would kind of do that. I don't know of any at the time, so I suspected that it was the French. And I told campus security, and of course there's no proof, and I got laughed at. And I think what happened was because the first two people that came in, the people that I knew my car. We drove around and stuff like that, and then so they pointed out the car, and that was the car, and it was vandalized. But I'm not bringing up the vandalizing as oh, the damn French, and I mean that's what brings up the French, but the idea that my insensitivity to my surroundings, especially in a public place where I'm watching a show that I know is notoriously offensive to whomever, and am I mindful of my surroundings to that end? And maybe I deserved it, maybe I didn't, maybe it was something else, and I'm being paranoid and delusional about saying that it was the French. But this amend is really just about any time that one laughs involuntarily, unfortunately, at any kind of joke. I saw somebody the other day at an In-N-Out, sitting down, group of friends, two guys and two girls, and the girl just banged her knee on one of those exterior hard concrete surfaces, and it's one of those ow, like at my age I'm ow, and the other kid just laughs, and she's in pain. And I thought about the different reaction, and I'm yeah, I guess I understand his reaction. I guess things were funny back then when people get hurt. So I think the amend is for the perspective of whoever's in your surrounding area. Just be cautious. And it's, I mean, and maybe that puts your own, one's own sense of humor into check. I mean, it certainly puts mine into check. And I know that endless jokes can be made about the French. I'm sure when I go to, when I visit Paris, I'm sure endless jokes can be made about Americans, and I'm sure there are. But what we're talking about is being sensitive to one's surroundings and who's in one's surroundings. And certainly I didn't have that mindfulness back then. I'm not so, if somebody's not mindful of their surroundings when it comes to me, it's just then I make my way to not be around there. I'm not going to vandalize their car. That was their choice. Whatever, they're that kind of people. But, and I don't think I'm paranoid, because there was no other cars that had that. But it was the French. And so this amend is, but it's really about just a perspective of the kind of jokes that are around. And when is something funny? In light of someone else's feelings, or in slight of someone else? Is it at the expense? What is it in the expense of? Right? Is it funny because it's just disgusting, base, senseless humor? Is it funny because it's dehumanizing any group whatsoever, whatever that group is? What is it? Is it reducing it people to a stereotype in that one moment? And I'm not saying that there is not historical validity to any particular stereotype. That's what a stereotype is. But why is that in my humor? At least back then. Not still nowadays, but I think I'm more mindful of my environment. So anyway, I'm sorry for the French for ever insulting you, and fuck you for vandalizing my car. Thanks for listening.